Okay, perfect, perfect. Yes. Okay, okay. Okay, so thank you and welcome to this session. Those among you that yesterday attended the OW2 conference have maybe heard about Spago BI mentioned yesterday in some presentations, so maybe they are curious to know what it is, and those that already know it maybe want to know a little more about the direction that the project is taking. So I will try to answer these two questions in my presentation. First of all, what currently Spago BI is, it is a suite for business intelligence. So mainly it provides answer to different requirements that typically we meet in business intelligence projects. When managing data. So we provide with basic functions such as reporting charts, interactive cockpits and so on, but also some advanced functionalities such as, for example, integrating business data with geographical data. We have a KPI engine, we have support for real-time analysis, we integrate data mining tools and so on. And we support both classical scenarios, that is users that want mainly to display, visualize and navigate information, and scenarios where the users want to create themselves the reports or even extract by themselves data according to a self-service principle. This is what the platform is and has been providing during all its life cycle, so mainly addressing functionalities which are ready to use, to build by yourself category of functions, explorations, mainly using OLAP cubes or visual inquiring, and advanced analytics. All of these fall typically in the what is known as business intelligence products that are built on top of data warehouses and whose main purpose is to, let's say, analyze the past and take decisions based on how the phenomena have been performed in the past. And so what a data warehouse is typically is a single version of the truth. So on top of this single version of the truth, using Spago BI, we can support better decisions from our executives. But now, the big data as common, what is mainly big data is, first of all, the possibility to have access to a very large amount of data stored on even on inexpensive devices, maybe using a cluster of machines and cluster of devices. This is the typical case, for example, when using Hadoop installations. And stored in unstructured format, but mainly in different format. That is not only the classical structured data, but also text data and even video images and so on. So the questions also are changing in some way. We can have classical questions on top of big data infrastructure, or even new questions on top of big data infrastructure. What is the approach of Spago BI towards big data? Of course, the main purpose of Spago BI is to provide support to analyze data. So the main interest with Spago BI towards big data is to manage the value that is inside big data, to extract first and then to manage this value. So of course, Spago BI doesn't take care of all the phases of data ingestion, for example, or data infrastructure. These are normally managed using other kind of solution. You can find many of them in open source, like Talent, for example, or other products. What we focus on is the visualization and getting new and also generating new information, starting from the new data sources that we have available. So, first of all, is a matter of connections to new source of data. And in order to make this connection as abstract as possible, we started defining from version 4, and then we made this concept more extreme in version 5, the concept of the data set as the object which is actually separating the way that we access to data from the way that we visualize data, in such a way that people that need to develop or use tools in order to visualize data just rely on the dataset interface, while all the different connectors have to manage how to populate this dataset. And the dataset can be defined in different ways. We can define a dataset as a query towards a relational or a data warehouse infrastructure, even using very advanced tools. But we can also define it as a web service, for example, a REST service, a Java class, in order to extend as much as possible the possibilities. Imagine that you have to analyze, for example, streams of data. In this case, you need to use APIs coming from your specific stream solution, whether it is Spark or something else. And of course, we extended the set of possible data sources to include all the Hadoop family, for example, in order to be able to access to HBase, using even Impala, for example, to accelerate the access, using Phoenix, and to access also no SQL database. We have connector to connect to MongoDB, for example, as well as Cassandra or OrientDB in the family of the, let's say, graph-oriented database. So first of all, is a matter of connections. Yes, we have some. There are still in, let's say, embryonal phase, but we have also tested connector toward Neo4j and OrientDB. So first of all, it's a matter of connection, but then is a matter of new approach to, let's say, to data. So one is, for example, not just limiting ourselves to understand the data, but also to simulate and predict. So, for example, we have from version 5 on the what-if engine able to simulate scenarios. So maybe you would like to simulate how your budget need to be changed in order to reach your objectives, and you can use this kind of approach. Or the way we visualize and navigate in our data. And here, for example, the self-service approach is followed in order to allow to permit people to create their own charts and their own representation of data and linking one to each other. Here there are different approaches to link data. This goes into the data federation topic, which is quite important. And right now we have an approach that supports data federation from a logical and, let's say, application point of view. That is, we can create logical associations between data even if they come from different data sources. But we are quite ready for shifting this approach more close to data than to the visualization, in such a way to create models that can be queried and hiding the fact that data come from different data sources. So the user will be in front of already a uniform vision of data. Okay, so this is where associations are made. All in all, there is a a unifying architecture so that we can easily decouple our system. The main focus of Spago BI is providing insights in this area, so the data visualizations, but all these can be done only if we rely on the universal dataset as a mechanism to decouple visualization and connection to data. And here we have new kind of visualization, and even we are, of course, developing and analyzing a brand new way to visualize information, because with big data there is a shift, for example, from representing, let's say, individual phenomenon towards class or clusters of phenomena. So you are interested, for example, in analyzing which is the relation between a cluster of users according to their, for example, salary compared to the class of products that they buy, and so on. And this, for example, is better represented by using data visualizations tools like tree maps or core diagrams, and so on. So there is really a shift in this way of representing data. And more also if we are using libraries to perform predictions, like the R library, for example. Finally, I would like to tell you about a specific case using approach combining a different kind of data with advanced visualization. This is in the field of social listening, or let's say sentiment analysis, that is how to analyze the perception from the users, the market, the competitors, and so on about our company, for example, expressed in a social network. So we take here the examples of Twitter. And this is an activity that we performed when we launched the new version of Spago BI, the version 5.1 at the beginning of the year. We defined a campaign on Twitter, and we used Spago BI in order to analyze this campaign. So mainly what you have to do is to connect to social data. So in this case, we use the Twitter API. We analyzed both the tags in order to know what were the main topics that people were interested in. And then we analyzed also the resources. So, for example, we decided that the website of Spago BI should be monitored the first day after the campaign in order to see whether there were some new subscriber, for example, or some more people looking at the description of the product, some more people may be interested in knowing about the services, people interested in knowing about the commercial offers, and so on. So tags, hashtags from one side, and resources from the other side, and then we can represent all this information using charts like this, or even geographical distribution, network of topics, of course word clouds, and so on. A list of top influencers and so on. And this is a direction where also it is extremely important to use specific algorithms. We started with a basic algorithm which is based on Bayesian network, so very standard algorithm, but already quite powerful, at least in this context. But with the integration of R and with the introduction of data scientists in the management of this kind of project. We can even think to, from one side, using more algorithms which are available using R, but even defining new algorithms. And these are other visualization that you see. They are not the classical visualizations we are used to when using business intelligence on top of classical data warehouses. Okay, if you need any more information, you can either visit the OW2 Village, where there is a specific stand about Spago BI, or visit our website and follow us on Twitter and other social networks. And of course, if you have any other questions, I'm here to answer you.